Good afternoon, Erika, and wish you a very warm, welcome to our show.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Hello to all our viewers. We know there are a lot of viewers out there who are watching this live excitedly, and this is going live on multiple platforms. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Erika Krizsan to our show. Erika runs the Insurance Factory Innovation Store. She's a founder of INTA Insuri Talent Network. She's a managing director of the Magic of Innovation program, and she has extensive experience in the insurance industry, having worked for 10 years in Generali, 10 years in Ergo. And she's an inspiration. In fact, her title is Chief Inspirational Officer for the Insurance Innovation Day and Magic of Insurance. And her personal motto, which I really love, for this year, is people first, technology second. So, Erika, once again, wish you a very warm welcome to the show. And our viewers are excitedly looking forward to hearing from you. And it's our absolute pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for the possibility to speak to your audience and to motivate that we are working in the best industry.
Absolutely. Which other industry, comes to the aid of customers, when they want, someone to help them, during the really tough moments, right? That way, it's an absolute privilege, working in insurance.
Yes, I know if I'm a lecturer in different university and the students said, oh, the insurance industry is a very boring industry. And I said, hey, it's not. It's just a lot of opportunity, a lot of possibility. We are everywhere in the life cycle of the clients and we have to help, we have to engage with clients. And why should it be boring? It's our life. And after that, if I try to explain why insurance is very important, why insurance is a great industry to explore, to discover a lot of things, and of course, with the helping of the technology, I think after some minutes, I can say the students are very motivated as well.
That's really wonderful to hear, Erika. As they say, catch them young, right? The university is the right area to, go and highlight the benefits of insurance so that people get the right understanding of the industry. And from an industry's perspective, they're able to go and attract talent, when they go hiring to, various campuses. So I think that's, a great effort, from your side.
Yeah, it was the idea with INTA as well, with this Injury Talent Network, because if we are motivating young girls and boys and explain the insurance innovation management approach, we can win everywhere. So the insurance company, the talents has a lot of knowledge in case of how are we developing business model, what does it mean trend management, how can I work with design thinking. And I think this is very important to give our knowledge to young motivated people who will lead the insurance industry in the future.
Absolutely. And on that count, right, because you said, how do we give knowledge to youngsters, who will lead insurance industry? So let me just, kick it off, by asking you a question. And since we live in these times, right, where we first heard about COVID and then we heard about various forms and now Omicron, right? So we can't, have a conversation, we just not talk about COVID. So given that, in the last 18 months, right, industries have transformed globally, and obviously insurance is no exception. And we have seen the kind of change, right? It's happened at a minute level, across various industries. Product demand has changed. We are seeing a greater adoption of, telematics and, various other, technologies brought to the fore by InsureTechs as well as, established players. People are asking for, more cyber cover. We have seen, changing customer expectations. So how do you see this change in customer expectations help the InsureTech industry?
Yes, of course, COVID is the best innovation manager, I think, in the insurance industry because so quick and so immediately to change the system from one side, if I'm speaking from corporate side, one side to other time, it's a remote work. It was organized. It was the selling process. It was the underwriting process. It's a really quick opportunity. And from other side, of course, the clients are in the digital world on way. And I think in your region, it's as in Asia, it's as a more possibility to work with the digital technology. Here I am here in Austria, and we are in the German-speaking region. And of course, in the European region, we have some challenging with our regulatory, we have some challenging with our data protection, and we cannot so really quick to change this mindset, because we try to give for the client the technology. We can develop a lot of ideas, but sometimes, especially in Austria, if the client call the broker and please come to me, we should drink wine and speak about the insurance. And in this case, I think it's a little bit other mindset in our country. But of course, it's the new generation is coming. They have other expectation of the digital world. It means, of course, from the different online giants, we have other behavior. We are searching in Amazon or we are searching in Google, and we can find what we want, and we can have the recommendation. But it's in this case, in our country, especially from the European perspective, it's not the case. We have some great opportunity. We have some online portal, but the behavior or these needs from clients is not so high. Of course, we have to have the difference between different line of business, because if you need a car insurance, and it's very easy, very quick, you can have your new policy. But if you have a higher complicated policy, it's, I think, the insurance is a trust product. And in this case, we have some additional needs to develop the right technology. Use the technology, but in the right way and understandable, because the insurance, from my point of view, it's very complicated. And of course, the lawyer doesn't do our job easier, because if you want to understand the term and condition, I think if you are not working in the insurance industry, you cannot understand. And to this explanation, it's a two-way from my point of view. One, you can ask your personal advisor, or you can use the technology that you try to understand yourself. But in this part, I think in these touch points, in these digital touch points, we have enough to do.
No, I think you touched upon some very important aspects, Erika. I think one, you spoke about trust, and that's always there, right? Whether you do it digitally or whether you do it through human beings. And the other is the point that you made, that during the pandemic, because everybody was working from home, right? It was not just a digital way of working, it was a digital way of living. So whether it is customers, whether it is insurance carriers, and this happened for a long time across the globe. So I think everybody learned to live with digital means of operating, and that's how I think the pandemic has brought about that change. And now that we are entering into the new normal, some of those will continue with us, in terms of some ways in which we have learned to manage life in a digital way. So I think that is the impact the pandemic has had. But thank you for covering that in great detail. My next question, Erika, is if you look at the InsureTech world, right? Increasingly, they're offering a lot of compelling opportunities, even for legacy providers, right? Because it's not always about competition; it could also be about coexistence. So, have you seen any opportunities which your company can take advantage of, or generally the industry can take advantage of?
Yes, of course. Also, if you are look for the figures, also 2021, we have 14 billion investment in InsureTech. It's a W more than in 2020. And of course, it's a different point of view, because everybody knows the insurance industry is a huge industry, and it's a lot of opportunity to digitalize. And of course, one part of the digitalization is if you look the InsureTechs, is in the value chain approach. It means it could be in the sales approach, some solution. It could be some in underwriting, it's as a marketing, or in the claims. And this is that the insurance industry cooperating with InsureTech, looking for the technology. How can I use this technology to increase efficiency, decrease cost, and of course, in this case, increase profit. And this is one select of this value chain approach. And the other part, if I am a very motivated guy and I want to ground my InsureTech like a digital insurance. It means this is a greenfield operation. It's not necessary to bring something from the traditional business model with. And in this case, it's very easy because the technology is here and you can digitalize end-to-end process. And this is, I think, that it's very difficult for the traditional incumbents because you have to have in the old history a lot of portfolio with different system and different interface and different approach, and this is not so easy. But if I have enough investment, if I can invest in a new digital field, I can support with the technology a really digital insurance with an end-to-end solution. But the insurance companies, you know, it is with a very high expertise. It's a strong finance behind it. And they are looking for this technology. And everybody that say that, insurance industry is not digitalized, it's not true, because if we are not digitalized, we cannot send for the client a letter in 100,000 in the same time. And we had to have the investment, and we had the investment. Of course, this new part of the expectation of the clients, this dynamic model, this unstructured data, we cannot use until now in a good way. But I think a lot of investment, a lot of activities from the insurance side. 10 years before I started with my insurance factory innovation store, and I spoke with CEOs and say, it is very important to look for trends, business trends, and how can you use it in the insurance industry? How can you use the technology? And CEOs said me, Mrs. Krizsan, innovation, this is not for us. Our business model is more than 300 years the same. We don't need to innovate. Innovation is only for tech companies and so. And I said, no, please, it is not right. Everybody should look for new business model, because currently in Europe, it's the car industry. Of course, the new cars is less than before. It's more electric car. And okay, what should we do if we have less premium from the car insurance side? Of course, we have to look for new business opportunities. And I think this mindset was changed. And now everybody knows that today we have to do something to be in the business tomorrow. And I think this is important to cooperate, to look the possibility for collaboration with startups, to learn from each other. And I think this is a different approach to work with InsureTech. And one part in my model, what I'm developing in this insurance landscape, of course, this new wave, if the insurance industry invests in InsureTech, of course, some share is in the company, or of course, it's other great possibility if the insurance companies fund venture as corporate venture. And in this case, you have some money to go on the market and look, okay, which technology is interesting for me? Which technology can I use in my core business or the opportunity for the future business? And I think this is a very interesting approach as well. Of course, if you are lucky, you can earn money as well. And I know it's some company did already, because if sell your startup with the exit, you can have more revenue that you buy the startup. And yeah, this is the new thinking about this collaboration and new way of digitalization.
Yeah. No, I like one of the lines that you mentioned, that get into partnership today so that you remain in business tomorrow. Because every new player who comes in, doesn't come in as a competitor. Sometimes there are people who say, I'm not here to challenge business models. I will look at a part of the value chain, for example, maybe claims, right? And I'll give the best claim solution. Or maybe in underwriting, right? I'll give the best underwriting solution. And then they get into a partnership with one of the established carriers so that it becomes a win-win, for the InsureTech and for the partner, for the large carrier who's their partner. And in the process, the customer benefits, and when customers benefit, the entire industry benefits. So I think that's how players need to look at it. So I think thank you for sharing your valuable perspectives on that front. And my next question to you, Erika, is like we discussed, various trends, right? We've seen hyper personalization, and for example, when you look at today, given that there is so much of data and the customer footprint, right, is also digital. So therefore, there is an expectation that you will personalize even as you scale up. So, from your perspective, on hyper personalization, what is the impact of InsureTechs, that you have seen?
Yeah, I think the first perspective should be thinking with the mind of our clients and be everywhere where the clients are. And we have to develop our solution. We have to check the possibilities with interaction, with the way of new clients' mindset to understand and to have in the new technology fit. And I think if we are doing this and we explain for the client why do you need this, and the client understand, as I mentioned, is one important thing, the simplicity to explain. It's a simple way, because we are, I think, I am this year 30 years in the insurance industry, and
Wow.
sometimes, of course, if you are not working with these terms and some words you don't understand what about we are speaking, and it should be understandable, yeah, and it should be gamification. It should be interesting that you should buy this insurance. And of course, with different bundled products, it means in the embedded insurance world, it's a other possibility to save your things that you have. And from other perspective, I like this perspective. The insurance industry was in the form detect and repair. We have a claim, we do it. And the new mindset should be from the insurance industry: predict, use the technology. Hey, it could be here some damage. Hey, you could get a push message to your smartphone. And of course, in this case, prevent. It doesn't matter, is this in the life insurance, is this in the car insurance, is this in the home P&L. And this is what we have to look, how can we help for the client with the technology to avoid the damage. And we should use the technology. I know a lot of great company that working not only in the software side, but of course developing, for example, in a household, the hardware to give to avoid the wasser damage. And you can get, after the first drop, you can get a message, hey, you have something problem at home. And yes, I think this is that we should think in every part of our life, which should check, also in this customer journey, where is this possibility to decrease or claims amount, because it's a very high amount in the insurance industry. And I think this is a huge opportunity to increase the profit. Use the technology, avoid the damage, and increase your profit. I think this is very important to understand, because in this case, the client will be happy because it's the damage avoid. And from other side, the company can manage this in a very short way. And this is, I think, the future. I'm not really for the words disruptive. So in this case, it's not really, from my point of view, need in the insurance. It's not disruptive. The business model is the same. We have to have the risk, and we have to have the technology, and to support the client. We have to have in the incremental base, we have to check our value chain. Really, how can I, for example, in the claims approach, how can I cooperate with startups and use the technology? I think this is in the short period, this is for the insurance company and for the clients a big opportunity to have this good mindset for it.
No, I agree with you. I think the whole aspect of hyper personalization, is how you can move away from a one size fits all approach to coming out with customized products, right? Depending on the customer's need. And the point that you made, that instead of curing, if it can help you prevent, so it becomes a steady shift for the industry. I think that's clearly there. And hopefully with more data, and with more customization and everybody coming together, whether it is insurtechs, whether it is
Yeah.
players, whether it is a regulator, and all the technology providers, who are anyway there, hopefully, the industry ends up being in a very different form, and we get more customers, into the industry, in the years to come. And I think that will be lovely. And I think, we, look forward to, that happening. My next question, Erika, is, and it's the last question, is when we look at it, right, we always typically talk about the future of insurance, and that's what you also deal with. And we're talking about, insurtechs and, all the new players coming in. How do you see, the evaluation of, insurtechs, in the future going forward?
Yeah, I think if you are look how many new insurtechs coming on the market, so I think so it's 30 so big player on this market with very high investment volume, and so they have some money to do the great things, and so more than 1,000 insurtechs coming on the market, and with different approach, different ideas, different mindset. And I think, of course, it will be a lot of merchant acquisition, a lot of activities that the insurance company want to save the comparative advantage with this technology and to develop the great business opportunity. And I think this is that we should think and give for the insurance industry, because I think it's our discussion or competitors, not the other insurance company. So this is my mindset as well, that it's you are on the market, you have a different company, you have a different market share. But if you look at digital company, and every company should be a digital company in the future, look what they are doing, Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, the GAFA, and of course coming Tesla and go, and they can say from one day to other day, I am now an insurance company, and I have a lot of expertise in the data. The data is, the new oil. And if I have the technology to manage the data from the client, I can recommend like a predictive marketing analytic way, a great opportunity. If I can use the technology that like a push message for the client, hey, do you need it? Because I know where are you, and you need a ski accident insurance because you are on the on the Austrian mountain. And I think this is that we should learn to work better with the data. and we can learn, of course, from GAFAs. And it is the question, how can we use it in the insurance context? And this is that what I trying to explain, that hey, you have to be open for the cooperation, because currently the core business, it was not necessary to look for really innovation, really to reduce the cost. It was not so really, because no, it's in the pandemic, the insurance business, especially in Europe, everybody check, okay, yes, currently is a pandemic time. Can I protect my family? Can I have a other? Currently is a business opportunity through pandemic for the insurance company. But of course, it could be a second steps, and so that, for example, we have in the life insurance industry some challenging in case of very low interest rates. Okay, how can I protect my portfolio? Because from the old traditional portfolio, I have, for example, a higher fixed interest rate that I have to pay for my client. And in this case, the asset liability is not so really saved. And I think this is that we should look with the current situation, with the current technology, and the technology is developing every day in an exponential way. And okay, what do you want? How do you want to use your comparative advantage in your company? Because everybody using the same technology, the question is, how do you use it in your company? How do you develop your customer experience? And how do you develop your culture? Because it's not enough to say, oh, it's a customer is king. It's necessary to say, my employee is a queen. And I think this is important, this approach, how should we manage in the future the insurance company? And cooperation with InsureTech in the new mindset is not only InsureTech. In my Insurance Innovation Day, we developed in a way InsureTech plus health tech, because in the health area is a big opportunity as well for insurance companies. And the InsureTech and health tech solution could be a really great opportunity to work with each other. Of course, for composite companies as well, who life and non-life in the portfolio has.
No, thank you, Erika, for such a wide-ranging answer. And at the start of your answer, you spoke about ideas, right? We have seen a lot of money come into the sector, but I think one thing which is evergreen and stands the test of time, is that capital always chases great ideas, and I think that's why idea generation and innovation, is what drives the industry forward, and literally drives valuation for the firms. But thank you, for
Yeah.
a wonderful conversation. I'm sure the audience has gained rich insights from the wonderful insights and the observations that you shared. And we'd love to have a conversation with you at a future point in time as well. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for the possibility to tell my motivation to insurance industry. And my motto is this year: people first, technology second. Thank you.
Yeah, and on that count, I also want to wish you and the audience a very happy new year. This is our first show of the year, so wish everybody a very happy and prosperous 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much.